Q&A, why I keep gaining weight as I get older. This is Ask Me Anything. Welcome to Ask Me Anything of Be Fab, Be You Made Simple. I am your holistic health editor and fitness trainer, Maria Horstman. During the Q&A episodes, I answer your health questions related to diet, nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and lots more. You send in the questions and I answer them for you. I take them seriously whenever I answer them. I like to look at the research, take a whole body approach, and discuss the potential root cause of imbalances. Head over to the show notes. I added the links to the ways you can submit your questions. Let's get to today's episode and empower you to optimize your health and fitness. Q&A, why I keep gaining weight as I get older. What's up? This is the third episode on fat and metabolism, and today I'm answering questions from Ellie and Julie. Their questions are similar and fit the theme here. So here's Ellie's question. Why is that each decade I age, my weight goes up about 10 pounds and I have a hard time getting it back down? Julie's questions was, why can't I lose weight the way I used to? Now it doesn't matter what I seem to do, change diet, workout, I am still gaining weight. So listen up, folks, for some cool and rich content. Why can I lose weight as I get older? If anyone tells you that weight loss is about eating less and exercising more, or is that's about calorie in and calorie out, that type of deal, please, especially when it comes to women in their 40s and older, don't pay attention. This is a bunch of BS. Weight loss and fat loss are often used interchangeably. They are not the same thing. And I'll answer this question today as if both ladies meant fat loss, which is ultimately what we want for prevention and management of diseases. Fat loss is a complex biological process that is influenced by many parameters. This Band-Aid approach to take this for that doesn't work either in the long term. It might give you some short-term benefits, but not in the long term. Who wants to be in a yo-yo type of thing? Actually, the yo-yo fat gain or loss can cause more harm than good. There are more reasons that it's harder for us to lose fat as we age, especially, like I said, women. One amongst many reasons is that we are more efficient storing fat by the process called nutrient partitioning. And I say we, women. Although I'm not going to get into the details about this nutrient partitioning today, I want to share one benefit out of it. It keeps women's lipids in the blood low. So thus their risk for cardiovascular diseases are lower compared to men. Whoop, whoop. Lifestyle has a lot to do with the levels of difficulty of losing weight and how early it starts. I mean, how early it starts to get difficult to lose weight. What I mean also with lifestyle is it relates to nutrition, exercise, quality of sleep, stress level, exposure to toxicity, which nobody or very few people think about it. And very few people are aware they are exposed to toxicity. So lifestyle can have a positive or negative impact in our metabolism and on several hormones such as insulin. Yes, I always talk about insulin. Leptin, which we'll be talking a lot more about it. Cortisol, thyroid, adiponectin, which I spoke about before, estrogen, testosterone, and more. all these hormones impact our ability to maintain good weight, even as we age. A natural fluctuation and change of reproductive hormone like estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone will impact the body's ability to keep weight stable as well. For example, as we age, estrogen levels start to drop. If your level of estrogen to progesterone is high, the ratio, you will tend to gain weight and store more fat, especially in the midsection of the body. I know that's not the coolest thing. Now, another thing that plays a role here is our genetics. And that includes how our bodies interact with hormones and where we store them. Isn't this crazy? It is cool as well. When I say crazy, it's because I think it's pretty cool. The news about the genetics is that it's rarely the one to blame. And I say rarely because, genetics play a role, can be 5 to 10% on our bodies and how we perform, depending on what the circumstances, can be a little higher, but on average is about 5 to 10%. For the most part, these bad genes that we have, and all of us have bad genes, they need to be expressed in order to actually take effect. I call poke the genes. So they rebel, right? And how do we poke these genes? Well, poor habits and lifestyle choices do a great job. The good news is that we can change things around and get these bad genes to quiet down. We can. You can. I can. I've done it. Helping my clients to figure this out through genetic testing and interpretation services that I offer, it's quite awesome. I was my own guinea pig many years ago, about 5 years ago, and I have loads of bad genes. I'll tell you that, and I'll be discussing that in the future. Being aware of our genetic predispositions and composition, I guess, it's great. Using the information to adjust the lifestyle choices is where the awesomeness is. Finally, I would like to share one more concept that, although is not discussed much, it is super important when it comes to fat storage and fat loss, of course. It is about how lipid turnover regulates adipose tissue mass or fat. So again, lipid turnover. And this fat that I'm talking about is the subcutaneous fat that is under the skin, or the visceral fat, which is around the organs, which is the fat that we want to get rid of quite, quickly as possible. And that's where the efforts will go. Or at least I recommend you to do so. So what is this lipid turnover? Well, it's the body's capacity to store and remove lipids. So studies have shown that excess body fat is associated with decreased lipid turnover, or basically a decrease on the rate that the fat is removed. Now, I have bad news and good news. I'll start with the bad news so we finish it up with the good stuff. A study found that the lipid removal rate decreases during aging, while the uptake rate doesn't at the same rate, ultimately results in weight gain. This process is independent of many other factors. So one of the conclusions is that substantial weight loss is not driven by changes in lipid removal, but by the rate the lipid uptake in fat tissue. Sounds complicated, I know. Let me give you the bottom line. The bottom line is that we want to speed up the lipid turnover in fat tissue. Can we? Hey, time for those good news. Here it comes. Yes, you and I can speed up the lipid turnover rate in the fat tissue. How? Don't I say often that exercise is the best free pill in the market? We cannot control our age, but we can control our fitness level. And the higher muscle mass we have, higher the fat burning process is, higher we'll break the fat. And if you're asking what kind of exercises will help the most, I knew you had that question, right? Let me tell you, prolonged exercise, the energy from fat becomes the main source. So resistance training will build muscles, and the muscles can keep burning fat after a workout. Obviously, this depends on the intensity that you do it. And the exercise intensity at about 65% of your VO2 max seems to result in a slight decrease in free fatty acids uptake. So it's a slight decrease. I'm not too concerned about that because there is amazing other benefits of, exercise at that intensity and even higher. The bottom line, again, is move your fanny 4 to 6 times a week. Do weight training 2 or 3 times a week and aerobic 2 or 3 times a week. And pick one of these aerobics to be maybe a longer route, whether it's a brisk walk, biking, jogging. So you can do this. And for the most part, it's free. Isn't the body fascinating? The more you learn about it, the better you want to take care of it. Talking about that, check out episode 19 and 20 for more about fat and metabolism. And also, you might want to check out episodes 15 and 16 for more on exercise. I wanted to thank Ellie and Julie for submitting their questions. And if you have follow-up questions to this Q&A, please go ahead and submit them at befabbu.com/podcast question. I hope you're enjoying this segment on fat and metabolism. I have more awesome things to share on the subject, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for listening. And if you listen to these episodes on Apple Podcasts, do me a favor, please. Leave us a rating so the show can reach more awesome people just like you. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. For listening to the Be Fab, Be You Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of Be Fab, Be You Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.